Hey guys, so in this video we'll be covering attacks of opportunity and counterattacks, or in other words, opportune strikes. We briefly touched on focus in a previous video, but today we'll be covering it in full. So this is the 5th video, so if you haven't seen the previous videos, again I'd advise you to go back to the start. First we'll talk about attacks of opportunity. So in Dead Monarchy and similar to other games like Battle Brothers or Age of Decadence, melee-oriented characters exert a zone of control. Zone of control is defined by the melee range of the currently equipped weapon's base attack. Or in other words, all one-handed weapons exert a cross-shaped zone of control, and all two-handed weapons have a zone of control that comprises of the nearest surrounding 8 tiles, so basically a ring around the character. If an enemy then decides to leave that zone of control, or happens to enter and leave or pass through that zone of control, it will be subjected to an opportune strike, or an attack of opportunity. And so here are some examples of attacks of opportunities being triggered. So in this case, this character is leaving the zone of control and is being subjected to an attack of opportunity. And in this case here, this character is passing a zone of control and not stopping. And again, it's being subjected to an attack of opportunity. Now, in the last scenario, even though this character is passing the zone of control, it's actually walking through or passing by one of your allied characters that is on the tile. So if you're walking through or past an ally that's next to an enemy, that tile, because it's occupied by your player or your other characters, that tile is not subjected to an attack of opportunity. So you can set your characters up in a way to make it so that it's easier for your other characters to navigate through the zones of control, provided that that specific tile that you're passing through, even though it's within the zone of control, it's occupied by an allied unit. Now, there is also a counter system in Dead Monarchy. And counter attacks are not tied to a specific weapon or ability, but rather they are determined by the focus stat. So if you are attacked and you successfully counter an attack, the enemy that attacked you will be hit with an opportune strike. And of course the same applies in reverse if you attack an enemy. Now, the chance of counter-attacking is the difference between the user's focus and the target's stamina. Or in other words, if you're attacking an enemy, it would be the enemy's focus minus your stamina. So let's say you have 50 focus, you're the one being attacked, and an enemy attacks you with 5 stamina remaining. So your character has a 45% chance to then counterattack the enemy that just attacked you. So on that note, you need to be careful of enemies with high focus, and you need to consider how much stamina you have before you attack them. And I'll also mention now that there are certain weapon abilities that can't be counterattacked, and counterattacks and attacks of opportunity only apply to melee weapons. So you can freely move around a character that is equipped with a longbow or crossbow, and if you attack a character that's equipped with a longbow or crossbow, they can't counterattack back. And here is an example of a counterattack in action. As mentioned, it's basically just an opportune strike as well. And while we're on the topic of focus, the last thing I'll mention is that rapier weapons also use focus for the majority of their weapon abilities instead of stamina. So if you have a character with high focus but low stamina, you might want to consider equipping that character with a rapier instead. And at this point in time, we've now covered in some detail the 5 primary stats. So in the next video, I'll be talking about the action point system.